So things are rebounding quite nicely. I know it's been a while since we could even imagine saying that $33 of oil is actually a good thing.
A good news story.
But the price of oil is actually at $33, up from $31 last week. The Canadian dollar's also been climbing at just about 74 cents versus 72 cents the week before. So some good news stuff. Kind of getting a little bit more stability, and hopefully we've seen the bottom and we're climbing through that.
Hopefully they're positive signs. We're moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
Okay. And on to real estate with the number of listings for Metro Calgary, we're at 5,945, so 5,945 this week versus 5,770 last week. So our volume is up a little bit. And then for our colleagues in Red Deer, we're sitting at 570 listings versus 552 a month ago.
Yeah, and the absorption rate's been climbing back as well. So we're still in a little bit of a buyer's market, but the total absorption rate's at 5.31, gone down, which is great from last month, but versus the 5.4. Single families are at 4.5 months inventory. Condos are at 6.9. That's really what's keeping us in the buyer's market territory. I think primarily due to the supply that's available out there.
For sure.
Okotoks is hanging in there at 7.15 months absorption rate. It's actually climbed a little bit, so their market's slowing. Cochrane is decreased down to 7.32. Red Deer's at a 5.48 month absorption rate. Airdrie's at 4.99, holding steady. Airdrie's done incredibly well.
It's still buzzing.
Yeah.
I talked to our colleagues in Airdrie, and it's go, go, go out there.
Yeah, and I mean, 5 months absorption rate is fantastic.
They're step for step with Calgary, with
Yeah.
Metro.
And Strathmore is continuing to fight back from that obscene absorption rate in December, but they're at 7.31, and activity's really been picking up out through that area as well.
That's great.
So
we can talk about benchmark price too. Our benchmark price today is $447,300, and that's pretty interesting when we compare that to our averages and our medians out there. It is about $100,000 spread between your average price for single family and your median, your benchmark price for sales.
Yeah, and I like that they came out with this benchmark price. Was it last year that they actually started doing it that way?
Yeah, I would say it was about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, but it actually tells us more of what the typical home in Calgary is versus the average price, where 2014 the luxury market was just flying, so that really bumped up our average price.
Averages into the 600 range even a year ago.
Yeah, and now
that's just, if we look at averages, it really does skew everything when we have multi-million, and we have a lot of supply at the high end.
Yeah.
And it's pulling the averages up significantly.
It really is, and that goes with days on market and everything else. But
and you know what it means to us, Steve, and that's, I think, the biggest thing with the benchmark being in the mid-fours is we have to price our properties intelligently.
That's it.
Price is king. Like, getting the listings is important.
Yeah.
But you've got to be able to educate your clients to price them at a realistic price. There's two streams of houses on the market: those that are selling and those that are sitting.
Yeah, and there's a reason why the days on market for active listings is actually longer than the days on market for
43 or 47 versus 60.
Yeah,
the big spread.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And pricing it, I mean, it comes down to pricing the home all the time. I mean, you use the conditions of the home and the location, all of that, to determine the price, but it's really important to educate your clients and where to be pricing the properties, because price dictates all.
It's true, and we can't be using comparables from October or December. The market has changed.
Yeah, and being able to interpret that data and information is going to benefit your clients. But we wanted to go a little bit off script here. I know we usually go into the next segments, but let's talk about what agents can be doing through downturn markets to kind of get through these times.
Okay. You want my thoughts?
Yeah, let's go.
My thoughts on that in a down market, it's, I remember listening to Steve Harney talk. He said, like, in a hot market, you've got to put the pedal down to the pedal to the metal. In a slower and a challenging market like we're in, you've got to double your efforts. But you also, I believe, you need to really distill things down. You need to pare things down to what's working for you.
Right.
This is not a time to be doing something new every week or every day. You need to be consistent in your actions. And I think it's the vital few. I learned that in Ninja. The vital, identify the vital few things that bring you the best returns.
Yeah.
For me, that was working my own database, and that meant making calls.
Right.
And on top of that, I had a lot of success with open houses, and I'm hearing from a lot of our agents who are saying the traffic is there.
Yeah.
They are picking up leads, getting names.
Yeah.
So for myself, I would be minimizing my actions to 2 or 3 things per week that work for me. Setting up open houses every weekend, good saleable open houses.
Right.
I would look at what's selling, what part of the market segment is hot, and I'd be looking for an open house, frankly, in that $300,000 to $500,000 price range. And I'd be doing that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, setting up my open houses and making my 15 to 25 warm calls a day to people I know.
Right.
That's my tip.
I agree 100% in just boiling it down to the vital few. And that vital few fluctuates from business to business, but there's only so many in real estate, and we tend to overcomplicate this business. I always try and simplify everything down to what I could do if it was just one action. And that's really having a systemized marketing plan for your database. And then once that system is in place, you're contacting your sphere of influence who's in your database, and then you're able to plug people into that system. And say open housing, you've got a system and you've got a great name for it, whether it's a home ownership program or something. Kirsten and Lindsay are great at naming. I'm
Brad
not.
at giving
Yes.
things.
But then at the open house, rather than saying, why don't I set you up for an auto notification search in your community, you can say, why don't I plug you into my home ownership program, and these are all the benefits, and Best My Nest is a big part of that, but then there's the monthly newsletter, the quarterly market update for their community, their annual real estate review, 3 invites to win, the potential to win thousands of dollars through contests at CIR, 3 invites to client appreciation parties.
There's a lot.
It just keeps
There is
going.
a lot you could do with those open houses.
You're just adding that value and then talking about the value add rather than just what every other open house guy is doing, if they actually have something they're offering at an open house. So
Something else that worked for me in any market was looking for opportunities to get out and network.
yep.
I guess I'm a fairly social guy, but I was always looking for opportunities to get out. We play in a virtual golf league.
Yeah.
And our team has Russ Austin and myself, 2 realtors, and we bring other realtors along. I'm having real estate conversations every week with people, and I'm not selling homes.
Yeah. Networking is key, and doing stuff that you enjoy doing gets you around people that have similar likes and interests, and conversations just go from there.
Yeah, be out there. Be out there looking for new opportunities.
So I had a thought and it escaped me when you said networking.
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
Another one that's really good is to tune into some of the mentorship and mastermind groups and ninja workshops, the things we're doing here.
Yeah.
You got to keep your mind on real estate and really stay positive.
That's a great point. And I always say that real estate is primarily about mindset. And if you're in a funk, then get around people that are active and energetic and bring your energy levels up and get yourself out of that funk.
Go see Steve. He's always positive.
Yeah.
Well, we are. We stay positive, and
Well,
we know it'll turn.
It will turn around, and it's incredibly important to be optimistic. That doesn't mean being naive to what's going on, but optimistic and looking the bright sides.
We're not going to. You don't wait out a slow market. You actually work your way through a slow market.
My thought came back to me. Thank you. These markets bring up different opportunities, and there are the vacancy rate for rentals is climbing. A lot of landlords have become accidental landlords. So a strategy that's been working really great for a lot of people is contacting landlords that have vacant properties. Maybe it's time to sell, especially if you're focused in the hot areas like Coventry or Bridlewood, like the starter home communities. Those are sellers that potentially want to sell.
That's a good point.
So, yeah,
Look for
those opportunities.
Look for opportunities for sure.
Yeah.